I'm ready. We're going. Everything's good. Let's check the chat room. All right. Oh, you're headed for breakfast at the diner. Chris Gallo and Debbie going to the diner. Okay, how fun is that? I wish you would stay, but we understand. Would you rather be at the diner than here with me, Leonard?
Are we going now?
Yes, but the sound isn't coming through. So we're talking to Gallo, who says he's going to listen later. Would you rather be at the diner than with me?
I'd rather be anywhere with Chris Gallo compared to being with you. Let's put it that way.
Oh, for good grief. Okay.
Let's just...
All right, I'm just waiting for the sound to come through. Hope you had a wonderful breakfast. By the time you hear this, Gallows, you will be bloated and probably need a nap for football Sunday, right? Welcome to Lady and the Legend. We like to talk baseball. Right, Leonard?
Yes, we do.
Why are you so serious and not saying hello?
I'm waiting for the sound to come on. Anything wrong with having sound on a radio show? I'm waiting. I hate this. The worst part.
Okay, well, let's just concentrate on getting ready for the show.
All right, look, the chat room.
Say hello to the chat room.
Chat room doing a good job.
It's going now, and I guarantee.
The chat room is going, and
sound is great, says our friends.
Good. There you go.
Rotorius is here, checking in with us. Eddie Heckman probably going to church soon.
Boston Paul, Chris Gallo on his way to a diner. Eddie Heckman, James Caprion, Rotorius. Look out, baby! We are rocking SM King Turd. Tommy Johnson. Okay,
I've been calling Lenny Turd now.
Well, I got a big problem.
What?
I don't belong here.
Why?
I don't belong doing a radio show. I'm a fraud. I have a huge problem.
Okay,
huge
this
problem.
Is probably going to sound worse than it is.
No, it's pretty bad. Okay. Because consider this as true. 100% true. None of it's made up to make it sound better. None of it's made up to entertain anybody. But last night, and I go to sleep very early, and that's, who cares? But I go to sleep very well. Last night, I woke up, and I keep the radio on, but I woke up at about 11, 12, I don't even know what time it was. But it was, let's say, in the middle of the night. And I'm listening to a potential no-hitter by Michael Lorenzen.
I know.
And it's the game broadcast, the play-by-play. And now I'm getting a little nervous because I'm getting into the no-hitter. And I'm saying, gee whiz, if I was 2 outs away from a no-hitter, I don't know if I could throw the ball over the plate. So all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm up. I am awake. Laura is here. Good morning. I am wide awake listening to the no-hitter by Michael Lorenzen, and I couldn't believe the announcers were talking about it, no whispering, and I got to tell you, he pitched the no-hitter.
Okay.
And it was only about 20 minutes ago that I found out that was August 9th. And I'm getting ready to talk about the no-hitter.
And he's looking on Google trying to find information about the no-hitter, and he can't figure out why nobody's talking about it.
I couldn't figure out why nobody was talking about the no-hitter by Michael Lorenzen, and then I found out it was 3 weeks ago.
All right.
So do I deserve doing this program? Probably not.
I don't know. After that, we got to see some great Vin Scully. So there's these shows on MLB TV. The two that we watch in the morning, I only caught the end of it today, but next Sunday at 7 a.m. I'll be watching it. It's called Sounds of the Game. Yeah. And we got to hear on this one, it was Vin Scully. And we got to hear so many great Vin Scully things, Vin Scully memories. And the guy was just, it made me cry. I have to admit, it made me cry. So then, of course,
Lenny is baseball. Vince Scully is baseball.
So then, of course, Lenny, it caught his attention early because how could it not, right? So you tell your Vince Scully story.
When I was growing up in the 1950s, I would say this was around 1954, 55. The Brooklyn Dodgers in New York, they were my team. you grew up in Queens, making friends with people that were friends with the same team that you were rooting for. And Vince Scully was such an idol of mine as a broadcaster. And I'll never forget Vince Scully and the Dodgers take the field. I mean, he would say that before every game.
What else did he say?
And the Dodgers take the field. And then he would give the batting order. Gilliam, Reese, Snyder, Hodges, Ferrillo, Campanella, Bobby Cox, Sandy Amoros. And I'll tell you something. The voice of Vince Scully has never left me. Vince Scully has never left me.
Isn't he the one that said you can't redistribute this without consent?
Yeah, any publication, redescription, or other use of the play-by-play or written accounts of today's game is okay.
Is what?
Is not accepted by the Brooklyn Dodgers. And he would say Dodgers. And then he would say, and the Dodgers take the field. And then he would go through it. You know, Hodges, Gilliam, Reese, Bobby Cox was a third baseman.
So did he travel with the Dodgers to L.A. when they moved? He was already with them in Brooklyn?
I think he did. He was with them in Brooklyn.
All right, then
whether
he had to.
went to L.A. or not, I just can't remember.
Obviously he did, because that's where he ended his career.
All I know that Vince Scully was baseball to me. Vince Scully.
And you used to play him on the radio in your driveway, right?
On my transistor radio in my driveway as I played ball against the wall. Vince Scully was not just for me, but Vince Scully was everybody. And
good morning to Merrill. Good morning to Captain Danny. Good morning to Boston Paul. Thank you for coming and joining us. Good morning to Tommy Johnson. Leonard Donaldson.
Triple play. Everybody's
Triple
here.
play.
Good morning,
James
everybody.
K. from the cool Wisconsin.
Yes.
Nice and icy, right?
Icy Wisconsin.
Boston, Paul is over there, too. All right. In baseball, the rules work like this.
But really, Vince Scully, to me, is baseball.
I get you.
Vince
It was a
Scully.
very touching moment. It's called The Sounds of Baseball,
Yeah.
or Sounds of the Game.
Right.
And it came on at 7 a.m. Eastern this morning. And then right after that, there's another show that's really good that we talked about last week, but it's Epic Innings is what it's called. All right, so here's how it works in baseball. In the first 1 to 3 years, the players make league minimum salaries, which, by the way, is I think it's up to $1 million now.
Okay.
All right, years 3 to 6, players get raises each year via arbitration based on how good you are compared to other people your age. You have to make it to the major leagues and be decent in your first 3 to 5 years to even end up on the free agency. Otherwise, you get non-tendered, which is basically telling you that you're not worth arbitration money to pay you. And so there was 63 non-tenders the other day. And a lot of these guys are going to end up with very small one-year contracts. You really have to prove yourself for 6 years straight to get to where we see guys on the free agent market, really.
Mm-hmm. And then you got arbitration, which is a year-to-year process where your career contributions are added up and compared to former players who look like you in similar positions. Arbitration is crazy. But still, that's what's going on. That's what's going on now. The players in arbitration, the players vying for a position. And it's going to be very interesting that the trades will begin. It's going to be, and speaking of trade rumors, and we'll talk about trade rumors in a minute. But I got a trade rumor yesterday, and again, it's a rumor. It's like a rookie is a rookie is a rookie. How about a rumor is a rumor is a rumor? All right, but this one makes a little sense. I haven't heard this at all. The rumor, it could be insane if the Dodgers sign Ohtani. Now that could be very insane, but very possible. To me, the Dodgers are the favorites to sign Ohtani. Now, Andrea, let me ask you this. Is it possible, okay, for the Dodgers to sign Ohtani and then trade also for Mike Trout. And they have a lineup starting with Betts, Freeman, Trout, Ohtani, Mookie could
Is it
score.
possible? I mean,
Is it? Of course, it's
I gotta
possible.
give credit to the very creative person who came up with this idea. Okay,
Well-
Mookie Betts batting leadoff, Freddie Freeman second, Mike Trout third, Ohtani batting fourth, and Mookie on his own without all of those other guys. Freddie Freeman, though, is completely underrated, all right? He shows up in the top in leaderboard and everything you look up. In fact, today I was looking up, we're going to talk about the most singles, right? We're going to talk about the most singles. Freddie Freeman is on there. He's also on the most intentional walks over the past 3 years. He's on everything. So while Mookie Betts batting leadoff, Freddie Freeman right behind him, and then you consider Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani like that. I mean, Danny would be in hog heaven over there in California if the Dodgers did that. But is it reasonable to think that they would?
Well,
How much money would that cost them, dude?
The Dodgers don't care. The time now is about free agents. It's about making trades, and you can get a little bit of a picture as to what some of the teams are doing. Some of the teams have a ton of money, and when you talk about the Mets, a ton of money. Since taking over as president of baseball operations, now you tell me what this means to you, Andy. David Stearns has already cleared 16 players off the Mets big league roster.
So he just took over as president of baseball operations, and he's cleared off 16 players. Is that unprecedented? Or
not unprecedented.
It's 6 weeks.
It tells
He's been there for 6 weeks.
It tells you what they plan on doing.
What are they doing?
They're cleaning out the roster. They're getting a ton of new players.
So they're spending again.
They are going to be spending again.
Okay.
And going after it. Now, Yamamoto,
Yes.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto, is expected to be posted on Monday. And that means there's a 45-day negotiating window with every team, and it's going to start on Tuesday. And that is when the action will start.
Okay. The most singles last season, we have Luis Arias. Not really that surprising, is it? Then you have Acuna Jr., Nico Horner, Stephen Kwan, Bo Bichette, Freddie Freeman. They're all the most singles. Now, look, I know a single isn't sexy in fantasy, but what does a single lead to? A single is getting an opportunity, getting a runner on base with an opportunity to score. So if you're hitting a lot of singles, I'm not saying you're great for fantasy. You could be a guy like Arias, who's a perfect example of someone who might hit a lot of singles. He's not going to go crazy in home runs. He's not going to steal a ton of bases. But think of the runs scored by this guy. And the batting average, you could, if you draft him, you can really get some hard-hitting Mendoza line type batters later in the draft, right?
Now keep in mind, Nico Horner, 135 singles, but he was a different player when he was moved to second base. Now I am being, oh yeah.
I know you love to talk about this, Leonard. It's a bunch of nonsense
It's not.
to me.
His numbers at second base were different than shortstop, so just pay attention.
Why, though? These people, they
why.
can't, look, I don't like babying these people. They're the best in the world. And if they can't, so all of a sudden you move this guy to shortstop and he can't hit? Is that how it works?
I was a different hitter when I batted leadoff compared to when I batted third.
On purpose, though, right?
No, I came up with the same intentions. I
just don't see how it makes sense that just because you're in a different spot in the batting order that you either perform better or not.
Because 50% of baseball is 90% mental. You know who said that?
Yes, I do.
Who? 50% of
DiMaggio. No,
Mickey. It was Yogi Berra.
Yeah, Yogi Berra.
50% of baseball is 90% mental, and that's
he had
where,
a lot of those, Leonard.
That's where Nico Horner comes
Okay,
in.
moving on. Most intentional walks. So if you're in the chat room now, I know this came from one of our chat room people. We found it on Facebook. Most intentional walks since 2002. Barry Bonds in 2007. Well, he last played in 2007-7, but the most intentional walks accumulated since 2002, Barry Bonds had 333, Pujols 310, and Miggy 238. So I decided we should know who's getting the most intentional walks over the past 3 years. Take a guess as to who it is. And I'm talking about 23, 22, and 21 combined. 3 full seasons. I want the chat room to guess because I did some work on this.
All right, chat room guess. I can't guess.
Genius of the day, people. Let's go.
Okay.
Who has the most accumulated intentional walks over the past 3 full seasons? I have number 1, 2, and 3. So if you guess any of them, then you get credit. So let's do some other things while we're waiting. One thing to know about Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yes.
His strikeouts, took a serious drop. Like they plunged almost
unbelievable,
unsustainably, right? So 2018. Now, of course, as a youngster, you're going to strike out more. That's just how it works. Typically, that evens out as you get more experience. But I'm going to tell you a trend here. 25% in 2018, 2019, 26%, 2020, 29%, 2021, 23.6%, 2022, 23.6%, identical 2 straight years, and then in 2023...
Now listen to this. This is unbelievable.
He struck out 11.4%.
11.4%. Now,
is that possible?
Can Acuna have the same kind of year?
I don't know after I see this.
He's a great player, but can he duplicate last year? I'm here not to say he'll still be good, but can he have such an outstanding year again? Everything went right for him, including great seasons by other players on the team. So many people now for fantasy baseball, is Acuna the number 1 pick? Is Ronald Acuna number 1?
Well, yeah, I was going to absolutely say he's number 1. Now, let's just imagine, because I've never seen a drop from 23.6% strikeout rate on average to 11% in one season. Now, I haven't dug into this a lot because I just saw this morning, but let's just imagine that he strikes out next year in relation to what he's done over his career, which is about 23.6% of the time. Let's say he does that. Does this fact even matter? Because he's still going to crush it. He's still going to run. He's still going to hit for power. Who cares if he strikes out 20% or 10%?
Right. Now, the Oakland A's made a move. They claimed Michael Kelly. They signed Daz Cameron.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just saying this because this is me. Who's Daz Cameron? I love Daz Cameron. We went to see him play in a game and to discover that he wasn't playing. He had the flu. But Daz Cameron, to me, was one of the... And he never, ever panned out. Not even at all. So now he's claimed by the Oakland A's. Andy, does that mean anything to you?
Well, I will say I did a little digging on Daz Cameron. He used to be a top prospect. He's now 26 years old.
Yeah, he was a top prospect. We went to see him,
his
remember?
biggest thing that I could tell you is that he hasn't been able to be productive at the major league level. And even last year, it was like he was going to get an opportunity for the Orioles, who claimed him off of waivers. But I'll tell you, he appeared for 21 games in 2022, and he hit .219, and he spent most of the season with AAA that year. He played 98 games, batted .240, 10 home runs, and 19 stolen bases. He does hit homers and steal bases. Now, this signing with the Oakland Athletics, I guess they're still Oakland, right?
Yeah.
There could be a bats in store for him. He did in 2023. He played at AAA. He batted .268 with a .346 on base percentage. He hit 16 homers and stole 23 bases in 110 games. So he did prove himself last year, and he will get an opportunity for at-bats this coming season. Okay,
Daz Cameron could be a sleeper $1 player in the draft at the very, very end.
Yes.
Daz Cameron, etch his name in your kitchen table.
Also, what went back to the Yankees and the Brewers made a trade yesterday. The Yankees traded Jake Bauers to the Brewers. Okay, Bauers, not too great, a .211 batting average and a .663 OPS through 4 seasons in the majors. He is not really fantasy relevant, but he doesn't have any more options, so the Brewers will likely give him an opportunity to play corner outfield positions, and if he doesn't, he'll be sitting on the bench. But he's out of options. Now, in return, they gave Jace Avina and Brian Sanchez to the Yankees. Both of these guys are extremely young. We have the 20-year-old Jace Avina, played with single A last year, batted .233 with 14 homers and 50 RBIs. He does take walks, but it's going to be a couple more years. Same thing with this other guy, Sanchez. Sanchez is 19 years old. But he did hit .297 with a .414 on base percentage in the Dominican Summer League. So we'll see. He's got a long ways, probably more than Avina, but these two youngsters aren't going to be doing anything for the Yankees for the soon future.
King Hap
Hello to King Hap.
Just joined us now. For a couple of weeks, you, the Roto lady, Andrea Lamont, have been suggesting that the Seattle Mariners have been considered a candidate to pursue Shohei Ohtani. And you, more than once, have said you think that the Mariners will get Shohei Ohtani, okay? What do you think now?
Well, this article came out from Daniel Kramer. He works for MLB.com. He says that his industry sources, okay?
Industry sources.
Yes, I hate that term.
You can't stand that, right?
No.
What does that mean? I want to sell newspapers.
It
What does
means
that mean?
that Daniel Kramer doesn't think Ohtani is going to the Mariners, but he does give some reasons, and I'll give him the credit for at least telling why he thinks that. I wish he wouldn't say industry sources, because you don't need any industry source to tell you the things that he lists out here, and he should take credit for that. He said that they might be wary about committing over $500 million to a single player, even if it's Ohtani. They haven't really been shy about payroll, but they already owe Julio Rodriguez $470 million. They're going to pay him at least $210 million based on the terms of his contract extension. They also have Luis Castillo and J.P. Crawford, who signed lucrative extensions, and they signed Robbie Ray. That is where I say this is the number one reason why they won't probably invest in Ohtani, especially long term. They inked Robbie Ray to $115 million, okay, as a free agent. That was so stupid. I just think that's $115 million that they don't have for Ohtani, and I think they're probably standing there like a deer in headlights going, this doesn't make sense. We're not giving another pitcher with 2 Tommy John surgeries 10 years. But he's also the best hitter in baseball too. So I'm not trying to forget about that. But this is from Daniel Kramer. He made some great points about the reasons why Seattle might not get Ohtani or might not be in the mood. Now let's talk about Yuri Perez.
Well, in the middle of our concentrating, preparing for the show, preparation, that's what it's all about. But in the middle of our preparation, Andrea says, I got something on Yuri Perez.
Yes.
Who? What?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
She says it's good. I said, okay, go ahead. Yuri Perez, I mean, come on.
I don't know who was talking about this, but I think that it's in reference to the ADP right now of Yuri Perez. There's been several experts, drafts, and stuff like that, and Yuri Perez apparently is going ADP 60. That's like round 4 or 5. they also made a prediction on what they think Yuri Perez is going to do next year, which I humbly, respectfully disagree. That this person said that he's probably, I mean, I agree with them on their point. 60 is probably a little crazy in fantasy, but he predicts 123 innings, 137 strikeouts, 8 wins, and a 4.08 ERA. Okay, now I said to myself, all right, let me take a deep dive into this Yuri character. He's 21 years old, and he did pitch great. He finished the season last year with a 3.15 ERA and a 1.13 WHIP.
Yuri Perez, right?
108 strikeouts and 31 walks in 91 innings. It's looking good so far.
How much are you paying for him?
Hold on a minute.
Okay.
His problem immediately hits me when I look at his home runs per 9. 1.5. Now, if you're allowing 1.5 home runs per 9 innings and your ballpark half the time is Miami, where it's impossible to hit a home run, then I have a problem with this. He's too young to be drafted that early when there's so many questions. Also, this person predicts 123 innings. All right, that's fine. He only threw, where's my notes here on this? 128 innings pitched in 2023 between minors and majors, okay? Now, that was a jump from what he pitched the year before. 128 innings. And then you question, is that enough innings from your starting pitcher? And in this day and age, you have to start shifting your mentality about what you expect. There is no guy, unless his name is Trevor Bauer or Strider or somebody, that's going to pitch 200 innings. Like, you can't rely on these pitchers to go deep into games. And does it really matter if he pitches 150 innings or 180 innings anymore, as long as his stats are great?
Right. No, it doesn't matter.
How much are you paying for Yuri? Oh, and then one more note.
Probably less than $10.
He pitched 91 innings last year, so this, to me, you could decide on your own if you think it's enough innings to...
$6 pitcher, maybe $5.
You know he only throws 25% ground balls?
No, I don't know very much about him.
A good ground ball rate...
I'm not even paying more than $3 for him.
25% ground ball rate for this guy. And also, he pitched a 1.97 ERA at home, of course, where the ballpark is a pitcher's park. And away from home, his ERA was 4.34.
Okay.
Which is a huge difference.
That's phenomenal. Where's Taco? Where's Taco? I know he's awake. Where is he? Now, let's do what we're supposed to do with the free agents opening up tomorrow. Let's just go through like the top 10 free agents because it's not so simple. Ohtani is the first one. I made it very clear. Ohtani to the Dodgers for me. Where is Ohtani going for you?
I don't know. You know what?
I
feel bad for the team that gets him.
But where do you think he's going? You got to have a guess.
The Yankees, maybe.
Oh, okay. That's
or the Mets.
Well, come up with
now,
one
whether or not Ohtani needs to be on the West Coast, that's really undetermined. I know there's a lot of people out there saying that.
You have all that winky dink and wink.
I say that if I was him, I would choose a no income tax state. I would go to Texas, okay, and save myself $100 million.
But who said he wants to be on the West Coast? Nobody knows.
The Vultures.
Nobody knows who said that.
Oh, but you know how they roll. One person says it. Okay. If it's said at the Athletic, then every single other outlet says it. And that's how it works. It's like playing a game of telephone.
I got a tough one for you. Cody Bellinger. He could go to the Yankees. He could go to the Giants. He could go...
Oh, I pray he goes to the Cubbies.
And I'll say the Cubbies, too.
I pray he goes to the Cubbies.
It's going to be a tough one because I know the
Craig
Yankees...
Counsell's there now.
And the Yankees want that left-handed bat.
He's great for Counsell. He's great for any manager.
Who's Craig Counsell? He was a utility infielder.
He's the manager now of the Yankees.
Not the Yankees.
I mean the Cubbies.
Big deal.
He should sign Bellinger.
Well, the Cubs
That's my point.
The Cubs have made it almost clear.
By hiring him for $40 million, right? That they're going to spend some money.
That they're going to spend some money.
Okay, then. That's why I bring him up.
Who's going to sign?
Yoshinobu.
He's
going to get. They say he's going to get $200 million. What a mistake that is!
Yeah, they kept him down for 9 years. At
$200 million. You're going to pay a guy that's never even pitched on American soil, dude. The ball is smaller in Japan. I'm just saying, $225 million. I'm sure. I mean, it's great for him, but it is such a risk because you just never know. He's done great in Japan, but how well is he going to acclimate into a completely new culture, okay? That's the question.
Well, the team for sure that needs a starting pitcher probably as much or more than anybody else is the Dodgers. And the Dodgers have a ton of money, and the Dodgers are expected to get Ohtani. But it's still only a drop in the bucket to what they need in pitching. The Dodgers pitching staff has been dismantled. Right now, if you look at the Dodgers pitching staff, Bobby Miller, Emmett Sheehan, Ryan Pepiot, those are their top 3 pitchers. Where is Curtin Clayshaw? He's going to sign with the Dodgers or he'll retire. I mean, Tony Gonsolin, Walker Buehler. What?
Do you hear yourself?
No, I don't hear myself. Walker Buehler, does the Dodgers... Would it shock me if they got both Ohtani and Yamamoto?
Who is Guest Mara? I need to know. If that's you, Chris, is that you sending Yamamoto to the Yankees or
that's possible.
And Bellinger to the Giants?
What's going to make this season great is the fact that a lot of teams who have projected to spend a lot of money also have a lot of money. And that's what's going to make this fantasy season the greatest, all right? So
Chris from Cambridge says that he could see Bellinger becoming the next Randall Grichuk. What is the similarities between these two?
Well, I don't know, but they're both disappointments. So
no, Bellinger is not a disappointment.
Well, okay.
He was offensively a disappointment for a couple years, but he was excellent last year, and it all came back to him.
In one of the rumors that I just don't understand.
Hello, Chris. You're hilarious. Okay, she hates the Dodgers. Oh, no. The Dodgers fan and the resident Yankees fan they're fighting in our chat room.
No fighting. Now, I don't understand why the Phillies would let Aaron Nola go to sign Blake Snell. He's a left-hander.
This guy's a bust.
He's coming off his second Cy Young caliber year. I don't know.
I talk to our friend Mal Pell a lot. He's a big Blake Snell fan, and he has a lot of good reasons why. And we go back and forth all the time, and he'll tell me something about Blake Snell that I didn't notice before. I still don't think that Blake Snell is a great investment to any team, but he's obviously going to get signed. The guy has a lot of problems. And does it really matter if he goes deep into games? I'm pretty sure Malpal convinced me it doesn't. If he gets 5 innings, he gets a win. He doesn't need to go 7, 8, 9 innings, even though I like my pitchers a little sturdier. He still made a lot of starts over his career. So whether or not he goes deep, I can't use that against him. But how about the walk rate? Okay, and the fact that
you just won't stop, will you?
I have a lot to say about Snell real quick.
Okay, good.
If Malpal was here, he would very reasonably...
Malpal under the weather. That's why he's not here.
But he would reasonably defend his case for Blake Snell right now against me. He has a reasonable... He looks at the numbers. It's not based on a hunch or a gut feeling. It's based on actual things that he sees through his stats. Now, but Snell, you look at his walks. Now, he never walked as many as he did last year. Like, no starting pitcher ever has walked as many as Blake Snell did. He had a strand rate that was just unsustainable. The reason that his ERA looked so good was because his defense was out there saving his ass every time. He let so many runners on base. The opposite thing happened to Steven Strider. His defense totally let him down. They did not save these runners from scoring. His strand rate was much lower. That's why his FIP was much lower than his ERA was. I will take Strider over Snell with confidence any day of the week in fantasy.
Jordan Montgomery, at the beginning...
I love him.
Beginning of last season, I loved him.
I like him better now.
Then I loved him, and I recommended everybody get him. Then, of course, he started the season, went to St. Louis, and then became a star
For Texas.
for Texas. Okay?
Yes, sir.
St. Louis sent him to the Rangers a couple of days before the deadline.
Is Turd here?
Yes, SMK.
I'd like to know,
here.
Turd, if you think that Montgomery will stay a Ranger. I hope he does. He's another one. I just hope he obviously found a great fit. He's been in several different places pitching, and I think he really found his groove down in Texas. And he doesn't throw 99 miles an hour, so I think he's less likely to be hurt.
Well, the Mets and the Giants are two teams also been talked about for Montgomery. What about Matt Chapman? Okay, the Giants love him, the Phillies love him, the Cubbies love him. I'll tell you something. He was great when he played for Oakland. Then he moved over with a trade. What do you think of Matt Chapman?
I think he used to have a horrible batting average, but I think he figured it out. I think I like him over there. I like him. I don't know, because he didn't have his batting average was like 210, if I don't recall right, from Oakland. Mm-hmm. Then he went to Toronto, right? I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Well,
he's played for several teams, right?
And then you got Josh Hader is interesting. The Phillies desperately want a closer.
At least I let him know when I'm making shit up, right?
Hader established himself as one of the best relievers. He was great. But he says he will only close. Do you think Josh Hader winds up on the Phillies, or do you think he winds up somewhere else?
Boston Paul, I don't know where Hader's going. Malpal doesn't think he's coming back. I don't like Hader, because when I found out this guy refuses to go into the game any other time until the last inning, I was like, I questioned Malpal when he told me that. Is that something that he literally says he won't do? He tells the manager, no, I'm not going in to pitch. And he said that Bob Melvin made comments about how that's just the way it is, that they have an agreement in his contract, basically, that says he's not pitching outside the ninth inning. That is the most selfish bullshit I've ever heard. However, he's excellent in the ninth inning. He got a good ton of saves from a team that didn't win shit last year. And his numbers were very good, and so it doesn't matter where he goes. He's going to have great stats. It's just that I don't really like a guy that you can only use. Look, you only want to come in the ninth inning, and God forbid if you have to come in 2 days in a row, right? If you had to save more than 2 times a week, then you're just wrecked after that. It's just like, I'm going to pay you $20 million a year to be not a great contributor, Leonard.
Okay, now we're going to
He's putting the phone number in the chat room.
We're going to open up the last couple of minutes.
Are we done?
We're done. But we're opening up. That's the phone number. It is now time to call. You pick up the phone. That's how you do it. You call, and then when it rings, you talk. And
interesting language. Today's episode sponsored by Death Row Records. Do you know who Death Row Records is, Leonard?
I've heard of it, but I can't place it.
That's Tupac. And I saw Danny Fuller's daughter wearing a Tupac shirt, okay, in one of the Facebook pictures, and I thought, that's pretty great. Me and her could probably hang out and listen to Tupac together and drink martinis.
Absolutely.
Death Row Records, brought to you by...
Okay, Boston Paul, Chris from Cambridge, Danny Fuller, Eddie Heckman, King Hap, Taco, Leonard Donaldson.
SM King Turd did answer our questions. He said...
Laura, Mitchell Larson, yes, go ahead.
He'd rather have Montgomery than the hyped-up, trendy Yamamoto.
That's a good question, Montgomery or Yamamoto. Mitchell Larson, Rotorius, Merrill, SM King Turd, Tommy Johnson, Triple Play... Anybody else?
And Turd says that he's pretty sure the Rangers will make Montgomery an offer. He's warned 5 years, 125. He's warranted 5 years, 125. He should get that, is what he's saying, I think.
You've been listening to the Lady and the Legend. Now's the time to call if you have a question, or if you just want to say something, or if you just want to make believe you're whispering in Andrea's ear, or My Ear or whatever it is. Pick up a phone. It's in the chat room. Call it now. It's 631 4. All right, you got it. 406. You see it right there? Okay, waiting for the phone to ring. Bring on the martinis and let's get going. All right, we're going to wait another minute or two. There you go. And then we'll call it a day. Anybody have any questions? Okay. Okay. Who is who?
The F is Jeff Harstock.
I don't know. Is he here in the chat room? Name sounds familiar. Okay, everybody. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for tremendous activity in the chat room. And we will see you again tomorrow. If you want to use that phone number, if a question comes to your head, okay.
Okay,
Give us a call.
that's it.
Thanks, everybody.
Later.